Hey everybody, welcome back with more of Southern Lethal Legacy, and today we're going to be talking about something very special. It's really, something everybody asks me. What is your favorite bait? What's the bait that you just love so well? And that is a square bill crankbait. Yes, square bill crankbaits. I have a lot of them. I have a lot of colors. I have so many of them as well. But the thing about this is it's a short diameter. The body of it is short. It's not so bulky and big. And the square bill itself is not as wide, and it's a shorter shank build. Now, what I like about this is that I'm able to cover a lot of body of water and be able to locate bass in some spots that I would never thought that I'd just locate a bass. Even you can locate the school of bass, which means you find them in a school of bass, means you're gonna find probably 5 or even 10 bass in one little area. When I'm using this, I like to use the 1.5 square bills, any square bill crankbait, or really on creek channels. Uh, if I'm fishing close to a bank, I want to be going with the bank. I don't want to have the bank in front of me and casting and reeling to me. I never was successful by reeling and catching bass like that. It's always going with the bank and fishing wherever it's a drop off. That's where you're going to be able to locate a lot of bass. That's why I said a creek channel could also really help you in the long run when it comes to using the crankbait. Now, a lot of people say, what are the best days to use your 1.5? There's no days that is good to use your 1.5. You can use it any time and any time of the year. I use these mostly all year round because if I'm flipping, if I'm using the regular soft blade plastics baits, and I'm not getting any bites the whole day, a lot of times the next day I go back out is the times that I just want to use my crankbait. Now, if there's just times where I'm at a new body of water and I don't know nothing about the lake, I'm going to be pulling out my crankbait. And the reason why is because I'm able to locate bass. Now, by meaning locate bass, it means if you're out there flipping and you have a jig or whatever you have, and you're not successful, a lot of times, when we use a jig, we're just gonna cast up on side of the bank. Well, a lot of times bass are really not there. Now, when I'm using this, the first spot I'm gonna be looking for is a creek channel or any place that I know that there's 3 to 5 foot of water. That's where I want to be casting this little guy at. Now, when it comes down to how does this bait perform? This bait performs well. I like the way of the wobble. I like the speed of it. Now the speed of it, because it's a little smaller diameter and that it has a shorter shank, is that you get a medium size wobble with it that can create a reaction bite. The speed on it is a little bit faster, but I'm able to slow it down as I'm reeling in, and it's meaning as you're reeling in, you stop, let it pause for a little bit, and just crank in a little bit slower. So that's why I love this smaller diameter crankbait. Now, for a lot of people who are using the 1.5, I see a lot of people doing this wrong. If I'm casting this out and this crankbait does not have any debris, which means mud, dirt, or if it don't have anything on the treble hooks like vegetation, anything, grass, whatever, that lets you know this crankbait is not doing its job. That means you need to move a little bit closer to your area where there's shallow water. I'm not trying to fish deep water when it comes down to using a square bill crankbait, especially when it's made for shallow water. And I think a lot of people get that mixed up with a spoonbill crankbait compared to this, because I see a lot of people buying these and they say bad things about the square bill, and the main reason why is because they use it wrong. Now, when you go to a lake and let's say you see a lot of stumps and a lot of rock, those are the places that you want to cast this little guy at, because the main thing is this flat piece of bill right here. This flat little piece, you can kind of see it right here, just right along the edge. When you're reeling and you're hitting rocks, you're hitting logs, stumps, anything, the whole point of that bill is to drive down to your right depth, to hit anything which stands in the way, and when it bounces off, it kind of like slingshots. And what it means by slingshots, it kind of like takes off a little bit. It kind of makes that bass wonder what is wrong with the crawl, or even wrong with this shad. Now, when you see your crankbait, a lot of times you do chip the corner of them. Or you might see that your crankbait is kind of leaning to the side. Now, what I like about these crankbaits is that you can adjust this little piece right here. You can kind of see it. You can adjust that. Get you some pliers. Now, if it's going to the right, I want to pull this little piece right here. If it's going to the right, I want to kind of tilt it a little bit to the left. Do not pull it too hard, because you will break your piece and you will have to buy a new crankbait. Now, that's just how you tune this little guy up. To get to the main key of fishing this is that a lot of people, if you're reeling slow, kind of speed it up sometimes. Sometimes I like to cast out, reel it in real fast, and trigger bites. Sometimes when I know the bass are not wanting this fast speed, I tend to kind of reel it in real fast, pause it for a little minute, and reel back, and then sometimes just reel in slow. Now, what I like about this little guy is that I'm able to make a lot of bites off of this 1.5, and the main reason why is because if I hit a stump, if I hit anything, rocks, when I hit, sometimes I like that it has this weird wobble to it from the left or to the right. And when I mean is that when it hits something, it really tilts like this and just like launch and then go back straight. And I don't know what it is, but there's been times when it does it, and when it do it, I always get a bass, and I'm able to just make a good hook. And what I like about these treble hooks are these are round treble hooks. Now, some people say they are not worth nothing. Okay, that's the thing about it. When you buy from the manufacturer, their mostly point is to focus on just the bait, not the hook. So you're not gonna get a top grade of a hook. You can go to Walmart, pick out any kind of type of treble hook that you like. Me, I don't change them, it's because I never have a problem with it. The only problem I have with this bait is that when I'm casting and I'm kind of going against the wind, I lose a little bit of my wobble. I don't have a lot of wobble, but some days with light wind, I'm going to tell you, with light wind and the wind is going to the left or the right, or coming straight at you, always go against the wind. On a light windy day, go up against the wind. Do not go with the wind, go against the wind. Because you will be able to trigger a lot of bites, especially in a kind of an open area where there's a lot of stumps, especially me being in Arkansas, you hit a lot of stumps. So you're gonna trigger a lot of bites. Now, a lot of people say, well, can I fish this in muddy water? Can I fish this in sustained water? Can I fish it even in clear water? Well, yes, and that's the main reason why I have two baits with me, is I have the sexy shad and I have the craw, because mainly these are the two main baits that I like to use so well. Now, I have almost every other color and I use them on different days, but a lot of times I want to start off with a sexy shad or the chill craw. Now, when it comes down to fishing muddy water, and it's kind of like getting close to the end of the winter, I want to use this. And the main reason why is because, if you have like a lot of rainy days, you get to the lake, your lake has, gotten full, you still got some spots with shallow water, and you just want to try it. I'm gonna pick up this chill craw, and the main reason why is because when I'm fishing dirty dirty water, I like to use this bait in particular. This one, or the brown crawl, or the green pumpkin crawl. And I never have any bad hopes of not getting any good, some bass. Now, you probably would think, well, what size of a bass you're getting. A lot of times I'm getting from 1 all the way from 5 to 6 pounds bass with this little guy. You probably be thinking, well, smaller the bait, smaller the bass. Bigger the bait, bigger the bass. Yes, in some occasions, yes, you can say that, but the 1.5 has not failed me on catching some bigger bass at times when I'm really, really searching. You can be fishing for 3 to 4 hours and not get a bite. But once you hit a good spot, stay in that spot. I have learned that when I'm using this, and I've been covering water half the day, and I'm using sexy shad or a crawl, and I get to one spot and you catch a bass. 9 times out of 10, there's another bass in the area somewhere. You just haven't located them yet. Keep casting in that area. And me, I like to cast when I'm using, especially a square bill, when I'm casting along, if I know if I see a stump, if I hit that stump and then boom, I trigger a bite, I'm going to cast back in that area again and be able to make success with another bite. A lot of people say, well, every time I get a bass with a square bill and they really didn't get close to the bank, they lose their bass. Well, the whole point of you losing your bass is the main reason why is because you do not kind of like set the hook. You just don't. If you set the hook, you're going to lose the bass. And you know why? It's because when you feel your bite, especially even if you're using your jigs or something, you feel your bite, you want to set your hook. Well, you don't really do it with this because, for one, you're cranking, you're reeling it in. So it's making this bait stay down and wobble along the way. And when you hit a stump or something, you feel a stump, you keep going. Now, after you hit that stump and it made that bait kind of lean to the side and take off, and a bass hit, when the bass hit, you keep the tip of your rod down. Do not pull up. Because when you pull up, what's going to happen is, as soon as you pull up and you kind of reel in real fast, what you do is you just make this bait like take off to you. You didn't let the bass take it. If I feel like I got a bite, I'm just going to let them take it, put my tip down, and I'm going to reel in to me. Never take off, pull up. There's been a lot of times where I did get a bass to the boat and tilt my rod up, and I lost a giant. So I still make mistakes sometimes too, because if you're using a jig or any worm and you use your crankbait, your first instinct is when you set the hook, you're going to set your hook. You don't. You keep the tip down and you just keep cranking. That's going to keep your bass and your bait down instead of popping him back up. So that's one of the keys, of using this square bill. Now, there's different options, which I mean is they have the 1.5s, they have the 2.5s, they even have the 4.0s or the 8.0s, and all of them work in different categories. But from when you want to just start off and learn something about a crankbait, I wouldn't get a spoon bill right off the bat. I just go straight to a square bill. Is because you're going to learn a little bit faster about using this bait. You're also going to be able to understand how to use this bait. Basically, I'm kind of telling you how to use this bait. When you go to your local lake, the first thing you need to do is find you a creek channel that, is kind of low. So cast it not directly in the middle of the creek channel. Cast it probably about a foot from the left or to the right of the creek channel. And the main reason why is because that's a drop off. So you want to fish right there along the drop off. And when you fish along the drop off, this bib is going to hit everything on that drop off and trigger a bite. And when you do, you're going to be successful when getting you a lot of bites, because you're basically binging this bib off of every debris you see. Now, I like to fish it on a creek channel because I can hit any vegetation, any stump, and if I'm at a lake that has a lot of rock, I want to be bouncing off a lot of the rocks in the shallow end, especially right there close to the bank. I would trigger a lot of bites. Now, we're going to be talking about some of the colors that you can use to get a lot of bites. You know, they have all across all of the shad colors, and I really love. You can go to Tackle Warehouse to get some of the colors. You can actually go to Walmart and get some of the colors. But I really recommend a lot of, especially a lot of kids or even adults that never use the crankbait, because I know how it is using the crankbait. It can be frustrating. You get mad because you're not locating bass. Everything takes time, and you know, when you come to fishing, you know, it comes to, you know, some hard work and time and dedication when it comes to using different baits. You know, you're just not gonna cast it out the first time and catch nothing. You know, so the whole thing about this square bill is to locate bass. Really locate it, really to be able to cover a lot of water. Now, what I like about this bait is that this bait is silent. It's silent. There's no noise, so you don't have a lot of the beads in it for rattle and a lot of noise. There's a lot of days where I'm able to get bites because I'm silent. I'm not making any noise. So that's what I like about this bait, is because it's 100% silent. It's 100% tough. I have put these crankbaits through heck, like, I mean, just pure down trouble. I have torn them up from hitting rocks and everything, and still got bites. So just think about when you use it and you get stuck on a log or anything, because that's gonna happen. You're gonna get stuck on a log regardless. You're gonna get stuck on vegetation. But like I said, that's the whole point. You know, just crankbait working. When you're hitting the bottom and you pull it up, you see vegetation, any pieces of stumps or any mud, dirt right there. You're doing a good job. Do not doubt yourself. Do not get mad. Don't get frustrated. Now, you, like I said, you're gonna get stuck on some stumps and get mad about that, because I do sometimes as well, because I'm thinking to myself, how did I get stuck on a stump? The whole reason to use the crankbait and that bib is slinging down ladder slow, and it's wobbling, and boom, 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 you're hitting. You know, you're trying to trigger that bass. You're trying to make a bass just hit it real fast and real hard. So, like I said, just take your time, be relaxed, you know, fish like you normally do, but you're gonna be using this crank, and you're gonna be cranking a lot, you're gonna be covering a lot of water, and you're gonna be thinking to yourself, I would have never thought I'd cover this much water, because there's a lot of days when I'm out there, I'm covering a lot of water. But at the end of the day, it's all about having fun and making memories out there on the lake. And the week, meanwhile though, I'll see you later, and thanks for watching.